BI300 News. I'm Logan.
And I'm Kat. And tonight on BI300 we have Mendel's Laws of Genetics, monohybrid crosses, dihybrid crosses, and my personal favorite, the life cycle of yeast, S. cervesiae.
Sounds like Ministry Night to me, Kat.
Yes, Logan, it does. Now let's get started.
As you may know, today is a very important day in the history of genetics. In 1865, Gregor Mendel published a paper on the pattern of genetic inheritance in the common garden pea.
Wow. And from this experiment, he was able to create two laws of inheritance, Mendel's law of segregation and Mendel's law of independent assortment.
Did you know Mendel's first law of inheritance, the law of segregation, is one that can be demonstrated using a monohybrid cross?
I did, Logan. And a monohybrid cross is a cross worth knowing.
Please, Kat, do tell us more.
Well, by using a Punnett square, we're able to see how traits are passed from generation to generation.
You don't say.
Oh, Logan, but I do say. Now let's head over to Devon for a quick look at the weather.
Good morning, everyone. In honor of Gregor Mendel, we will be doing something a little different with the weather today. Here we have two heterozygous yeast strains that will eventually be mated and produce some interesting results. As a result, we will have a genotypic ratio of 1 to 2 to 1 and a phenotypic ratio of 3 to 1. This clearly demonstrates Mendel's first law of segregation. Back to you, Kat.
Thank you, Devon. As you can see from the weather, for each trait an organism has, it carries two factors for each, and these factors are what we know as alleles.
However, an organism's gametes only contain one of the two factors. This way, the alleles provide variability among the organism's offspring.
That is interesting, Logan.
Yes, Kat, it is.
Well, we'll take a quick break, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Hi, my name is Catherine, and I am here with you from Your Buddy the Yeast Cell to tell you about the life cycle. All you need is one single cell and you're ready. To begin the process of reproduction, the cell starts to grow and forms what is called a bud. Next, the nucleus starts to stretch as the bud grows with it. Once it is big enough, the new cell splits from the original cell and creates two separate cells. And the cycle starts again until it dies. If you would like to know more information about the yeast cycle, please contact our chief yeast analyst at 1-800-Dr. Jenny.
Welcome back to BI300 News.
Kat, do you remember Mendel's second law of inheritance?
You know, Logan, I do. It's a law of independent assortment.
Oh yeah, this is where he was able to show that two traits independently assort from one another.
Logan, that is exactly right.
Well, Kat, since you're such the expert, how did he test this law?
Well, to follow both traits, Mendel used a dihybrid cross.
You don't say.
But I do say.
That happens to be my favorite cross.
Well, Logan, I didn't know it was your favorite cross, but since it is, why don't you just take over?
Anytime.
All right.
In the dihybrid cross, you are able to demonstrate that two traits sort independently from each other at the same time.
Gosh, that is very interesting.
It is. Now here's Devon with breaking news on the weather.
Well, it looks like love is in the air because these yeast just won't stop reproducing. Here we have an example of a dihybrid cross, and as a result, we have a genotypic ratio of 1 to 2 to 1 to 2 to 4 to 2 to 1 to 2 to 1, and a much simpler phenotypic result of 9 to 3 to 3 to 1. This clearly demonstrates Mendel's second law of independent assortment. Back to you, Logan.
Thanks, Devon. Now, Kat, did you have as much fun tonight as I did?
Oh boy, did I. I had a blast.
That is good to know.
Oh yes, and I believe before we all go, we should briefly go over some key points from tonight's broadcasting.
What a great idea. Let's get started.
All right, well first, let's not forget that my favorite cross, the monohybrid cross, represents Mendel's first law of inheritance, the law of segregation.
Oh, and that's where each trait has two alleles, but those alleles separate to form gametes.
Yes, it is, but let's not forget about your favorite, the dihybrid cross.
How could we? The dihybrid cross demonstrates Mendel's second law, the law of independent assortment.
Oh yes, that's right. That's where you're able to show that two traits assort independently from one another.
Yes, Kat, you're correct.
Well, unfortunately, that wraps up our news for today, but I'm Kat.
And I'm Logan.
And from all of us here at BI300 News, we wish you a blessed day.
Stay classy.
Yeast. Sounds like cervesiae.
Start over. Start over.
Okay. All right.
Hello, and welcome to BI300 News. My name's Logan.
And I'm Kat.
Alright, Gregor Mendel published a paper on the Karman garden pea and its patterns of genetic inheritance.
Wow. From this experiment,
That was good! I finally did you know Mendel's first law of inheritance, the law of segregation, is the one that can be used demonstrating? I had that. That was so good!
It was so good.
Okay. Hello.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Hello and welcome to BI300 News. I'm Logan.
And I'm Kat, and tonight on BI300 we have Mendel's laws of genetics.
And back to you, Kat.
Thank you, Devin.
I was so in sync. Okay, just keep going.
Okay. And back to you. Oh, wait, no. And back to you, Kat.
Thank you, Devin. And as you can see from the weather. Okay.
Just go.
All right. Welcome back to BI300 News. All right.
Kat, do you remember Mendel's second law of inheritance? Well, Kat, in a dihybrid cross, you are able to test two different traits at the same time to show that they assort differently and independently from one another. I had it! I just said differently!